Dave Clark on pole for the 4th time out of 4 in 2011, and he's got Rick Steyer in for company on the front row of the grid. Behind them, the 924's coming into line, and on the 2nd row of the grid, Jerry Taylor and Mike Seller, who qualifies an excellent 4th. Lights out and a great start for the front runners, and as Jerry Taylor's onboard shows, Dave Clark means business again. Taylor himself trying to squeeze past Rick Steyer into Old Hall. Everyone gets through Denton's and Cascade safely on the first time, and aside from leader Dave Clark, they're all having to deal with loads of spray from the cars in front. As they come down Hilltop for the first time, it's Clark from Steyer, Seller and Taylor. Conditions far from easy here in Cheshire. That catches out Steve Potts in his 924, but he does manage to rejoin. 924 battle looking like it's good for Steve Brown, the pole man, who heads Alfred Piesinger and Jason Flegg at the head of the 924 field. Alistair Kirkham in the white car having a busy time. He's got his hands full racing with Boxster newcomer John Ian Logie in front of him. Alistair having to deal with pressure behind from the other 924s too. Jason Flegg does a rapid recovery after a spin at Cascades, and another moment, this time of the Boxster variety, which David Bierman does well to hold on to without losing too much time. Guillaume Grochet's having a fantastic race and in an engaging battle with Arjo Josh for 7th position. Wet or dry though, it doesn't matter to Dave Clark. He proves he's still the top man, fully clear of all pursuers. Another spin, this time racing journalist Rebecca Jackson. Unfortunately for Rebecca, she winds up beached in the gravel, and that's her 2nd retirement of the 2011 season. Jason Flegg's spin recovery and subsequent pace meant that he's looking good for 2nd place in the 924s, but at the front, Dave Clark bags his 7th win of the season in fine style. Rick Steyer crosses the line in 2nd place, his best Boxster result of the year, as the 924s continue to fight it out on their last lap. Alistair Kirkham here chasing Alfred Piesinger for 3rd place. Jerry Taylor took 3rd in the Boxsters, but the 924s were still very much at play. Jason Flegg catches the grass at Knickerbrook, and then Alfred Piesinger tries to nip up the inside, makes contact, and then spins away his 100% podium record. Piesinger recovers, but it's not, alas for him, on the podium once again at the front of the 924s. Steve Brown already through to take the win in that class, and Jason Flegg just gets the better of Alistair Kirkham for 2nd place. Thumbs up from race winner Dave Clark, who takes the Boxster and overall win from Rick Steyer. Jerry Taylor in 3rd place with Mike Seller 4th, John Bierman 5th from brother David. The 924s finished this way. Stephen Brown the winner from Jason Flegg, and Alistair Kirkham in 3rd place. Alfred Piesinger 4th from Adam Croft, and Stephen Potts recovered from his moment to finish in 6th place.
Tried my hardest to get second place from the start line. Ended up having a little bit of a loving kiss with Richard Styrene. That set me back a little bit, and then within about 2 laps of the race, I think I'm going to be happy with third.
So I managed to get past a couple of Boxsters into the first corner and tried to keep them between myself and Jason, and it worked for at least 2 laps, and then he found his way by as well, and he was gaining and gaining and gaining, and I was getting wetter and wetter and wetter. But eventually he spanned behind me. I had a bit of a breather, and then he was catching me again.
Dave Clark on pole with Rick Styrene next to him, then Jerry Taylor and Mike Seller on row 2. The Biermans on row 3, followed by Guillaume Gruchet and Arjo Josh. Then Steve Brown and Jason Flegg, Alistair Kirkham and John Ian Loggy. Alfred Piesinger 13th from Adam Croft, then Steve Potts and Rebecca Jackson at the back of the field. Championship leader Dave Clark brings his Boxster into pole position. Rick Styrene alongside will be looking to try and edge away at the start of this one. There at the back of the field, Rebecca Jackson in the white car after her spin, and Steve Potts in front of her as well. But we're back at the front of the grid looking from the pit wall. This is the view from Old Hall, the first corner on the circuit, one of the most daunting corners in British motorsport.
The red line.
And away they go, cracking start. Styrene gets away well, but so too does Dave Clark, who leads them. The 924s go through as well. Steve Brown in red, nipping down the inside to take the lead in the 924s. But up into third position ahead of Jerry Taylor is Mike Seller. Seller is in third place, and Jerry Taylor will be very disappointed to lose third position off the grid. He's down in fourth, but Dave Clark leads. Rick Styrene in second position. Then it's Mike Seller, Jerry Taylor, followed by John Bierman. Then David Bierman in sixth position. Arjo Josh in seventh place, followed by Guillaume Gruchet as they go along Lakeside for the first time, coming up towards Shell Oil's corner, and Dave Clark it is that leads. Let's look back at the 924s. The black 924 of Stephen Brown is leading that battle at the moment. So cracking start for all concerned, and thankfully no mechanical damage drama, although there was the drama of Mike Seller getting through into third position, and I fancy that that is going to be a battle that hots up as we look at Alistair Kirkham giving chase to Jason Flegg for second position in the 924s. Leaders over Hilltop, and now coming down in towards Knickerbrook. And keep your eyes on the red and white car of Jerry Taylor, who's going to, I thought he was going to challenge on the inside into Knickerbrook. There is, if you get a decent enough run down from Hilltop, you can sometimes have a look at the inside line. But Mike Seller hanging on to third position. There is Jerry Taylor in the 16 car, the man who did some cycling in his youth, then moved into sports car racing in the Taylor's Foundry Caterham car. Now down the inside line, cracking manoeuvre by Jerry Taylor, very opportune, good driving as well from Mike Seller. Seller's back down to fourth, so the status quo in terms of grid positions has been resumed, with Clark leading, Styrene in second position, third place now Jerry Taylor, fourth place Mike Seller, and John Bierman's the next driver who's got to get on the case of Mike Seller. Through Deerleap come the leaders, across the grid lines they go. It's still David Bierman in sixth position from Arjo Josh. I think it's fairly ordered for the moment, but a very good manoeuvre you have to say as the 924s come through, pick up their pit signals, and still leading the 924 race is Stephen Brown, Alistair Kirkham and Jason Flegg very much involved in the battle for the podium there. Now this is down towards the rear end of the 924s. Rebecca Jackson's got ahead of, well, it's Alfred Piesinger who's been passed, so the championship leader finds himself in last position. I wonder if he's got a problem. Let's see, or whether he's had a spin maybe. He's going to try and nip past Rebecca Jackson, who's enjoying her race, but we'll probably come back and see how that one pans out. But now we've got a challenge on for fourth position, and John Bierman's looking up the inside. This is what I was saying about the run down into Knickerbrook. Didn't quite have room there, and that means that David Bierman is closing up as well. So the battle royal between John and David Bierman, who seem to share the same row on the grid. They're always together, very equally capable racing drivers. Very much enjoying their race, but John Bierman getting back on terms at the moment with Mike Seller and putting him under pressure. Let's see whether Bierman can make a move, maybe at the same place that we saw Jerry Taylor make the pass earlier on. And that's Alfred Piesinger, the championship leader in the 924s. Well, his Oulton Park meeting goes from bad to worse. His first race saw him finish in fourth position, And that was his first non-podium finish of the year. As we go back to the 924s, Adam Croft involved in the mix with Jason Flegg. But it's all going off, so Piesinger is losing a hatload of points, and he's going to want to write off this meeting for sure. 11 leading the race and leading the Boxsters is Dave Clark. You've just seen the championship leader parked up there in the 924s, Alfred Piesinger. Alfred is okay. Damage to the steering on the car. Not sure if he's been involved in contact. Doesn't seem to be body contact on the car. I wonder if the steering has just given up the ghost on Alfred's car as the marshals start to make the recovery. And a big thanks to the marshals as ever for the sterling work that they do across the UK and indeed the world. The British marshals are the best in the world, though. I say that every time and make no apology for saying that. And Dave Clark leads. Rick Styrin's keeping him honest in second place. Jerry Taylor's had a result here because he was away back from these cars on lap 1, behind having that battle with Mike Seller through Dearly. You get a really good idea of the camber there up across the line. Way down the order, Jason Flegg is busy dicing with John Ian Loggy, the Boxster in front of the two 924s. So good scrap going on with those cars, and Steve Brown involved in the mix here as well. Let's have a look. Steve Brown it is that leads the class. Jason Flegg's going to come through on the inside as they come up to Shell Oil's. Change of lead for the 924s and through into lead position. A lock up of the brakes there. Cracking view of Jason Flegg coming through. It always seems to do better traditionally in the second races, but runs wide, glances across, and Steve Brown in the Flegg Transport car, his teammate, goes back through on the inside and off for Guillaume Gruchet. Had a good run in race 1. That's, well, perhaps an odd place to go off. It's the bottom of Dear Leap, so Gruchet being caught out. There are some weird cambers as you come around that final corner, and maybe that's what caught Guillaume out. So Steve Brown still leading the 924s as we go back. There is the 74 car, Guillaume Gruchet. Alistair Kirkham in the white car running third in class at the moment in the 924s, and a spin for Adam Croft. Croft in car number 5 spins. Double winner at Cadwell Park. Well, you can't bring the luck with you, can you, all the time? And so Croft, after winning those 2 rounds, finds himself down the order here. He'll recover from that, I feel sure. Try and get back onto terms with the leading drivers, but the leading drivers in the Boxsters, lights ablaze for Dave Clark, who's coming under increasing pressure from Rick Styrin in the championship. Styrin really getting used to these cars, you've got to say. Styrin coming under a little bit of pressure himself from Jerry Taylor. Started in third place, did Taylor. And this is probably the best news that Dave Clark can have, because Jerry Taylor, who aside from the first race at Cadwell Park has been an ever-present on the podium, is still there in third place. Looks down the inside line, doesn't work for him there. Rick Styrin picked up his first podium of the year at Donington Park, race 2. Double podium in prospect for him here this weekend. His best his best Boxster result, second position in race 1, and he's really being made to work hard to maintain second position here in race 2. You just get the feeling the other runners are getting closer to Dave Clark. He was really in a class by himself in the wet, but these drying conditions, if second and third weren't dicing with each other, well, the fancy that second place man might be on terms with him. Fastest man on track at the moment in this race is Jerry Taylor, who's running there in third position. A 1 minute 57.312 for Jerry Taylor. So if he can only get past Rick Styrin, he might be able to get on terms with his teammate. Into Shell Oils they go once again. Styrin's playing a superb defensive game here though, and hanging on to second and not losing too much ground on the race leader. So through Falstons, and we're going to look back down the order and come back to this enthralling 924 battle. Steve Brown still there, Jason Flegg in second place. Then it's Adam Croft in third. Big fun, Alistair Kirkham in third position. Adam Croft, of course, who had the spin earlier on, different coloured car. But Steve Brown still hanging on, and coming up to dice with John Ian Loggy in the Boxster. John running in 9th place at the moment. Guillaume Gruchet is ahead of him. Guillaume, who had a good dice in race 1 with Arjo Josh, and he's not able to keep pace with Arjo in this one, but the 924's really giving us a superb battle at the moment. So Jason Flegg in second position, Alistair Kirkham in third. Very little to separate those three. This is a very good, cost-effective, competitive championship, and the front runners from the 924s, of course, can sometimes get amongst the mix with the Boxsters. So if they're away on their own, they might have a race with the Boxster. I've got to say that the top three here probably don't want that. They want to try and sort this one out cleanly and fairly without the tail end Boxsters getting involved. But having said that, those new guys in the Boxsters, of course, equally entitled to their track time as the race leaders get involved with the back markers. We're still looking at Steve Brown, double winner potentially here. Steve Brown in the number 60 car, opened his season at Silverstone with a retirement, then had two podiums, podium in race 2 at Silverstone, podium in race 1 at Donington Park, missed out Cadwell Park, and a 5th in the second race at Donington Park. Stephen Potts in the light blue 924, the man we saw spin in the first race of the day, is passed by the 924 race leader, and that's going to allow Stephen Brown a little bit of breathing space. Potts over there on the left of circuit, and now here comes Alistair Kirkham through on the inside line, and Jason Flegg gets relegated to third place. Flegg down to third, gets a little bit crossed up there, does Jason Flegg. A brief look at Adam Croft down the order, and Steve Brown clear of Alistair Kirkham now. He's very, very happy about that. The Boxster's still in front with him. John, Ian, Loggy and Guillaume Gruchet just got enough pace in the Boxsters to hang on. We're going back here to look at Arjo Josh, who's got ahead of Mike Seller. Disappointment for Seller. Fourth on the grid, got up into third place. I don't know if he's got a problem with the car, but he's sadly slipped down the order, but still enjoying his race here with Arjo Josh. And that's Mike down in 7th position, Arjo up into 6th, and then the battling pair of Boxsters that we saw in front of the 924s, Guillaume Gruchet and Johnny and Loggy down behind them. Back with Dave Clark, who's starting to get away now. Jerry Taylor is through into second position, but goes wide, overdoes it, and a spin for Taylor. Well, fastest man on the track, he got through, carried a bit too much momentum on the overtake, went wide, and he's making hard work for himself to rejoin, and you can't blame him for that. He's going to be very frustrated, and that's that frustration then goes into a spin. He's going to recover, but he's going to be some way down. So Dave Clark will go on to his last lap here at Oulton Park and take another win. It's going to be 8 wins from 8 races, unless the curse of the commentator bites and he throws it away. But I personally can't see that happening to Dave Clark. It's been a superb season for him. He's not managed to get fastest lap this time. Fastest laps over the course of the season. We saw Richard Sykes bag one at Cadwell Park, Rick Styron bagged the fastest lap at Donington Park, and now we've seen Jerry Taylor grab a fastest lap as we go back and look at Mike Seller still trying to close down on Arjo Josh for 6th position. So those two enjoying their race, and so too once again is Dave Clark, the absolute master of the Boxsters. Can anyone beat him in the remaining half of the season? That remains to be seen. Clark down at Knickerbrook, still going back to this battle with Mike Seller, who's trying to recover and get past Arjo Josh. Gruchet goes through. This is just ahead of the lead 924, but Arjo Josh in 7th position continues on 6th position rather, defending 6th position from the 7th place driver Mike Seller, but the race leader is Dave Clark, who is going to happen across Stephen Potts again. Potts pulls to the outside of the circuit. You can see Rick Styron in 2nd position climbing up the hill. Arjo Josh and Mike Seller still thrashing away for 6th position. How close is that? A superb dice that they have had, but it's going to be David Clark though at the front of the field. 4 seconds clear, and there is the checker for Dave Clark, who takes the win. Battle for 6th position still on Mike Seller. I don't know if he's going to have enough grunt here. Maybe he'll have a look as they come down into Knickerbrook. He's looking at the inside line. Arjo Josh, for my money, has got a little bit more ground as across the line in 3rd place goes Jerry Taylor. Rick Styron's taken 2nd position. Jerry Taylor in 3rd. Battle-scarred car of Adam Croft taking the 4th position in the 924s. Steve Brown on his way potentially to another win in the 924s, and here he is. Steve Brown still coming under pressure from Alistair Kirkham. Kirkham's having a very good run here indeed. Best result of the season, 3rd position in race 1. It looks like it's going to be even better for Kirkham in race 2, who's going to take 2nd position. Guillaume Grochet takes a superb 8th position ahead of John Ian Loggy, but here come the 924s. It's going to be Steve Brown who takes it just from Alistair Kirkham in 2nd position. But Dave Clark, the race winner, from Rick Styring in 2nd place, Jerry Taylor in 3rd, John Bierman in 4th ahead of brother David Bierman, and RJ Josh in 6th place.